Amphibian.
Hello guys, I'm Hunting751 and we're back doing a podcast for the first time in forever. I think the last time we did one of these that wasn't Sasuke related was the last time we did one of these was Sasuke related. And that was about a year ago. And now we're back again doing another podcast. But this time we're not talking about Sasuke. Me, Chumpy, and Weapon Matt are here discussing Spider-Man. Because I actually talked to Chumpy about Spider-Man yesterday and showed an interest in almost 99.9% certain of going to go see this new Spider-Man movie. And we started talking about all the different Spider-Man movies, which there have been a lot. And we decided to record a podcast about it. So, how are you guys doing, Chumpy and Matt?
Peter!
You already got yourself a copyright claim for something for the first time in forever, so... we'll see how the rest of this podcast goes.
Peter!
I'm not sure I know the reference. Oh, God. Chumpy, are you going to give us your best Willem Dafoe? Are you going to do an impression of every single one of the villains in this movie?
Maybe. I don't know.
Possibly.
Hey, can you give us
Possibly.
your best sad boy Sandman?
Dude,
From
I don't even know.
Spider-Man 3.
I don't even know how he did that. Dude, I don't even remember how that quote goes.
What does it even
Shit.
matter to you anyway?
What?
That sounded more Batman
Give me
than
a
Spider-Man,
chance!
That was the
Let's
other
give
guy,
my
wasn't it?
uncle a chance!
Oh, God. Oh.
but-
You're not Peter Parker. Hello, Peter.
Hello, Peter. It's a big
And
tentacle
that Doc
man.
Ock is a very spooky guy because in the trailers he has stolen the Tony Stark tech, so we have some
Oh, yes.
coked out tentacles.
So, I didn't really figure out how we were going to discuss this because I have seen the trailer a few times, but I haven't seen it for like a couple of weeks, so I can't really remember a lot of the details about
I
it.
already made an order of events, so I have it.
Okay.
I have it split into titles. Title 1, Big Tentacle Man. Title 2, Electrician. Title
Electrician.
3, Amphibian. Amphibian. 4, Willem Dafoe. 5, Dust Boy. So
Dust
those
Boy.
are Dust Boy. That's for Sandman, because you know he's kind of a dust.
Well,
His
yeah, I
power
got
is
it, but
his power is literally sand dust.
I feel like a lot of these
He's
villains...
gonna rub some dirt in your. He's gonna rub some dirt in his eye.
Every single one of these villains, I think, the more I think about it, they either made a terrible choice by injecting themselves with something, or it all just happened by accident. Now that I think about
Right.
it, because Sandman didn't mean to like fall into the pit of sand, and doesn't Electro fall into like a vat of eels or something and gets like
Yep.
electrocuted to death?
Yeah,
Falls
that's
into
fun.
like a pressure tank of eels.
And then he becomes blue, and then he somehow becomes
Yeah,
not
that's-
blue.
I mean, that's one thing that definitely is better about the, at least the prospect of MCU Electro Jamie Foxx. He's not blue.
I know.
And he
I'm not.
actually
No, I'm
looks
not big
like
on.
Jamie Foxx.
Well, well, he
it's
did look like
Foxx
Jamie.
instead of
He did,
blue Jamie Foxx.
I mean, when he was human, he looked like Jamie Foxx in Amazing
For like
Spider-Man.
the first 3 minutes.
Well. I mean, he looked like he was meant to be playing like a nerd.
You know,
wasn't
pre-Eel Pit, he was a pretty good guy. Pretty good guy.
he? Well, he was,
Jamie
wasn't
Foxx.
like isn't the whole point of his character is just like nobody likes him or nobody like notices him, and he just wants to
Right.
be noticed.
Yeah.
And of
that's
course,
also what
Yeah,
happened with,
because I remember, because there's the awkward scene where Electro first comes out onto the streets, yeah, and he's like, Spider-Man, do you remember me? Do you remember me? And we're like, no, wait, hang on, I actually do think I know. It's on the tip of my tongue.
The fact that you've retained that much information from Amazing Spider-Man, is that the second one?
the second one.
That Yeah,
I
that
am.
movie concerns me.
Listen, I am a Marvel nerd.
Horrible
Okay,
movie.
leave me
So am
alone.
I, but that movie is horrible.
So we're
I
probably gonna
disagree.
the order of proceedings, if there is any kind of proceedings to this, is we're going to talk about the new movie coming out, and then we're going to have a chat about the old movies, because there is a reason. There's another reason why we are doing this podcast. Because I told Chumpy that to sort of get prepared for this new movie coming out, I decided to go and download and rewatch the first Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, and then the first Andrew Garfield Spider-Man.
Not as nice.
Well,
Slightly less nice.
You say that, but actually I have some opinions on the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man because I'd never seen it before, but we'll get onto that later. For now, let's keep talking about the new Spider-Man, the new MCU Spider-Man coming out, and it looks pretty darn epic.
Yeah, let's talk
Yeah.
about how sadly the MCU has tried to hide the fact that Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire are in these films. Let's just talk about how sad of a job they've done. It's blatant. It's almost
Because they do the
blatant.
very blatant foreshadowing with the Doc Ock quote, like, "Hey, Peter Parker," and then "You're not Peter Parker," which mirrors obviously the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies, and then the end of the most recent trailer with MJ falling down is like the exact mirror of the end of Amazing
Of
Spider-Man
Gwen,
2.
Of Emma Stone's.
Emma
yeah.
Stone,
Yeah. And there's been theories that the Spider-Man that will actually save her in that scene is going to be Andrew Garfield Spider-Man, like not
That'd be
letting
kind of
history
good.
repeat itself.
Be kind of cool. I actually went to. So I know I just said I hadn't seen the original Amazing Spider-Man until this week just gone. But for whatever reason, I did go and see the second one when it came out in cinema, even though I hadn't seen the first one. Don't ask me why. And when she died, I was kind of sad. It was kind of.
Well, the thing is, that movie it just foreshadows it entirely. There's just so much surrounding her character. Like, yeah, she's gonna die at the end.
You think so?
That's literally it.
Oh, yeah.
That's
That's
what
what the
I
whole
think.
movie does, is pretty much says she's gonna die.
That's
Right.
that makes it even more depressing then. Because I mean, obviously, apart from the obvious fact that it's Emma Stone, I actually quite liked her character, to be honest. I guess it's kind of her own fault as well, because she did kind of go and help Spider-Man take down Electro when he tried to keep her out of danger. And she was like, "No, I'm gonna."
She got herself killed, and then got her neck snapped.
Yeah,
Yeah, fun time. You'll
I heard.
let's
I just
talk
see,
about
like, some-
the fact that the amphibian's back, the lizard. He was my least favorite out of the early movies. I don't know.
Well,
what
The
you guys
lizard
thought.
was Amazing Spider-Man 1.
Yeah, he was my least favorite villain out of the.
I would definitely
five
say
announced.
he was the weak point of me watching Amazing Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Right. For sure. But yeah, no, I'm most excited actually for I'm not as much as we've been talking about Willem Dafoe, I'm most excited to see Big Tentacle Man in cinema again.
Well, look, he's obviously going to be like, because and again, you shouldn't take too much from this, but I went to look at like the official cast list in the order, and in terms of the villains, Alfred Molina, who obviously plays Doc Ock, is at the top of the list, and considering the amount he has appeared in these trailers, he's obviously going to be in a lot of the movie. Then it's Jamie Foxx, and then it's Willem Dafoe. So I'm thinking like Willem Dafoe maybe doesn't actually have, like, the Goblin himself might be in the movie quite a lot, but I have a feeling like Willem Dafoe maybe isn't or hasn't got that many lines in this movie.
Right. It's hard to get somebody like him, you know, to do something like that again. He's kind of old. Just saying.
Well, I've made the
Old.
joke of
think
like,
this
I'm
movie,
70, Peter.
Like the trailers have kind of outlined, at least to the audience, they could definitely throw you like a curveball, but you know, we'll go off the basic Marvel kind of movie 3-act way of doing it. Is Act 1 is all about, you know,
Setup.
Spider-Man and Doctor Strange, you know, screwing everything up, and the fact that Doctor Strange is like an absolute idiot.
Matt Murdock Daredevil being a lawyer? Question mark?
No, I'm not. I do not subscribe to that theory at all. But
You don't? You don't think that's
No.
I'm
I'm part of the thing that
think it's
Doctor
a
Strange
might.
is under some sort of like trance, because why in his right state of mind would he do that?
It could be.
Well, he's a bit of a rebel anyway, isn't he? At the best. I've not watched the Doctor's.
He's
I've
the
not watched
best.
Yeah.
What was the one villain that, whenever the WandaVision was big, everybody was like, "Oh, Mephisto's gonna be
Mephisto?
canon. Oh, it's Mephisto." They're doing it again. They're doing it again. They're bringing
Doctor
Mephisto
Strange is the bad
rumors
guy.
back.
It does, obviously, the trailer obviously does point to the fact that somewhere down the line, Peter and Doctor Strange are going to be fighting on opposite
On
sides.
a train.
Well, they're on a train, yeah, fighting on a train.
Yeah, true. I mean, or it could be Doctor Strange and Spider-Man fighting somebody else on the train. Possible theory.
They just
Well,
cut it out.
They definitely.
So
well,
one
I mean,
thing too
they're-
that brings up, with the continued foreshadowing of Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire, that last scene in the most recent trailer that shows Spider-Man going at, I think it's the Lizard,
Oh yeah,
Sandman,
they
and
had
whatever.
like in the
In the
Greek
Brazilian
version.
trailer,
Or Brazilian,
there, the Lizard, it got cut too late. The Lizard like took an invisible punch to the cheek. Ugh. So it's like
to the chick.
there's someone
Emma
else
Stone
there
cannon?
because of just the way everything is like set up.
Is that the bit where?
obviously
Is that the bit in the
other
trailer
people
where
there.
like he sort of like goes in towards the Sandman and then he sort of drops down?
Yeah,
like-
he's like
yeah.
at a perspective to be fighting. I don't remember which of the villains, but like the angle at which the Lizard isn't fighting Tom Holland, and then in the Brazilian one he takes like a lick right in the face.
Yikes. Yeah, no, there's definitely gonna be more than one Spider-Man in this film. It's just a matter of, do we get 1, 2, or
Oh, they're
another
definitely
one?
getting all three. There's no way like they'd stick one of them. Like, there's no way they'd put two of them in, and not the third one. Like, there's no way.
Right. Yeah, probably, but I don't. Because is Tobey Maguire like in his 40s now? Is that how old he is?
No idea.
How old is Tobey Maguire?
Probably.
I know
Man
Andrew Garfield's in his early 30s. I know that much.
Yeah, he's still.
Well, it's like
He's
it's weird to
got it.
think about that. The Amazing Spider-Man movies came out after, like, during the MCU era. Like, they came out in the, like, 13 and 15, 14 and 15.
2012, 2014, and then
Yeah.
Tom Holland's Spider-Man first appeared in Civil War, which came
17?
out in. I think it came out in early. Didn't that come out in early 16?
I'm thinking Homecoming was 17, I believe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Homecoming was
Civil War
2017.
was 16.
I was almost about to say Civil War came out early 15, but then I remembered that Ultron came out in 15.
15, yeah.
Dude, talk about the freaking Marvel system. The first Spider-Man movie comes out in 2017. Here we are in 2021 talking about the third movie in 4 years.
Of course,
Jeez.
throw into that the fact that Spider-Man was also obviously in both the Avengers movies as well.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you got a
Yeah.
fan favorite character, I guess. Just keep throwing him in there.
Because Spider-Man is probably the most well-known Marvel character.
Oh, right. Right.
This is part of actually the other bit of the conversation. I mean, it's crazy if you think about that. This will be the 8th Spider-Man movie
Live
this
action
century,
Spider-Man movie. Yeah.
and they've all come out this century. This in the last 20 years, actually, less than 20 years.
Right.
When did Spider-Man come out? Oh,
2002.
Oh, 2, damn.
Spider-Man 2 came out in
Jeez,
2004.
world.
And then
That's an old movie for us.
07? Yeah.
I think Spider-Man 3 came out in 07. Yeah.
And then there
Yeah,
was
Spider-Man 3. I'm happy that they are only pulling Sandman from that movie to be the villain. The
Well, I think
Venom
they're trying to set up like an
character-
alternate Sinister Six, like, because that's what the
Oh
original.
yeah, no, there's gonna be one more. They just haven't showed it yet. It could be. I mean,
Maybe it's
it
Tom
could be
Hardy's Venom.
That is true. It could be because they had the end credit scene in the Venom 2 movie, where
Not seen either of the
In
Venom
either
movies.
Venom movie.
oh
Venom
so
is classed as MCU, isn't it?
No,
no,
Or is it not?
But what happened?
it's the villain verse of like the Spider-Man multiverse of Marvel.
Like you know the what's that movie that came out recently? The vampire
Eternals?
one.
Oh.
The
Vampire
oh,
one.
what's the guy called? The vampire. Shit.
in the MCU or what?
No, in the Venom verse, the one that just came out.
Oh, I haven't seen either Venom movies. So.
Yeah, you're asking the
well,
wrong guys.
I've seen Venom 1. He's an alright character. If they bring him in, I'll be fine with it. But
Oh, like the other
in-
villain verse movie? What the? I know what you're talking about. Not Venom, but what is that other movie?
it's the
can't
he's like
remember.
the it's the guy who's disabled and then becomes undisabled and becomes a villain.
Yeah,
Shoot.
I can't remember.
Venom verse characters.
Anyway, we're trying to figure it out. And we don't know. Oh my god, there's more to this game? Another 5 minutes? Hang on, is this round based? I'm playing a game of CTF on Infinite, and literally the whole recording so far has just been this one game. This has been going on forever.
So
I
that's the theory. The Venom will be the guy from the Tom Hardy verse, because there was an
villain
end credit
verse.
scene at the end of
Venom,
at the end of the Venom 2, Let There Be Carnage, of Venom shifting into the MCU. Like they had a whole like reality switch sequence, and the TV showed like Tom Holland bad guy report. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, that's the whole premise, obviously. We haven't even discussed that. It's like the whole premise of why all these villains are coming through is because, obviously, Mysterio... And I haven't actually watched the second Tom Holland movie, but I do obviously know the specifics. And I know that it ends with his dying... Well, I say dying. His dying gift being that he tells the world that Peter Parker is Spider-Man. And he now is going to get painted as a... for some reason, get painted as a villain.
Did you
because-
watch Far From Home?
No.
He says he didn't. So the reason with that is, and it's also like what kind of sparked all the like, oh, the multiverse stuff, and obviously we know the multiverse is happening now, but even before that, because, you know, we get the new J. Jonah Jameson played by, I can't remember his name.
The old J. Jonah Jameson actor.
Like the same actor, but a different like take on J. Jonah Jameson, like having Mysterio like pretty much put together like an edited video of what happens, saying like, oh, Spider-Man, you know, caused everything,
Killed
with all
Mysterio.
the drones and crap, and killed Mysterio.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just him trying to right the
serious?
ship, and then he just opens up the multiverse.
Just naturally on a normal
Wouldn't it be
day.
funny,
one
like,
thing that would be
everything happens
interesting
because of
is
Jameson?
If maybe the Vulture comes back from Homecoming.
That's
Michael
a
Keaton.
possibility.
There was the
Michael
post-credit
Keaton.
scene from. Remember the post-credit scene from Homecoming, Chumpy, where it's like him in jail with some other bad guy. I forget.
The Scorpion. Yeah.
Yeah, with the Scorpion, and that would set up a theoretical 6.
Mm-hmm. It would, but I don't
We'll see.
think because the way it ended, like, because Michael Keaton knows who Peter Parker is, and he didn't give up his identity at the end of the
Which is also weird,
scene.
can I say? I found that weird. Like, why wouldn't he
Makes me
tell
think-
everyone?
Which makes me think if he were to join a Sinister Six scenario, I think he'd be the one that like would flip sides and like fight with Spider-Man. Like because I don't think Michael Keaton's a bad guy to be, you know, a bad guy. I think he's a bad guy because, you know, society sucks. I lost my
Wasn't that
my
the whole
job
point of why he does it?
collecting
Yeah,
alien
but
stuff.
that's the whole reason he does all this, isn't it? In the first Tom Holland. I have seen one.
Spider-Man wanted to date my daughter. Oh.
Which is a lot more extreme than Gwen Stacy's dad was in Amazing Spider-Man 1.
Okay.
He just didn't like it.
Yeah.
He just didn't like him. This one wants to kill him. Ah.
Well, he tried to warn him, but you know, heroes will be heroes and want to get themselves killed.
Oh, doesn't he like figure out who he is? But then he does give him a warning, doesn't he? And he still ignores it, and then he like kicks his ass or something. He traps him, doesn't he? Somewhere he traps him somewhere,
Kick them under
and
some concrete. Yeah.
Tom Holland has this like really sad cry moment where he's like, "I can't get out," and then he somehow gets out and saves the day.
He pulls God's strength out of nowhere.
Mhm.
He used the power of believing.
I'm looking
With
forward
the
to
reals.
I am actually looking forward to Jamie Foxx's portrayal in this movie, just because I could easily imagine him the way obviously his character was played in Amazing Spider-Man 2. He obviously he wants everyone to notice him. He wants to be recognized. So and obviously the bit in the trailer when he's all like, "You're not going to take this away from me." Like he's obviously going to get something. Like I know obviously we talked about Doc Ock has the Iron Man.
Well,
no,
he gets an arc reactor. Electro
is
arc
it?
reactor. Yeah. In his
Um,
chest. So it's like instead of him he's got all the metal and stuff reinforcing all the electricity rather than just him being blue.
But-
I think the theory could also be that it's not that there's something to be taken away from Electro. It's that he is getting another chance at life. You know.
Well, yeah, that's the other thing. Obviously, the whole ghost.
They know
the ghost point is the fact that most of these villains are supposed to be dead.
Well,
Albeit,
they're all dead, or like they say it in the trailer, they are all destined for the same thing: death by
Yeah.
Peter Parker.
well, because obviously the Lizard wasn't dead in Amazing Spider-Man 1, and I guess technically you don't know if Electro died. Obviously, he got blown up, but with his electricity. But
He
yeah.
died.
he died.
He's dead. He's dead.
And Sandman
it's
didn't die,
I think
actually, now I
the-
think about it. Sandman just
Sandman
flew
did not
away.
die. He Thanos'd himself. But it's gonna. That's what I think. It's like Spider or Tom Holland Spider-Man doesn't want to kill them, but Doctor Strange they have to kill
Does.
them.
Yeah.
But then eventually they
They're
have
variants.
Tom Holland
It's-
have to do something.
Well, I mean, it's incredibly. I will be very interested to see how that plays out because, just in terms
That's
of
very
how
middle act.
much effort Tom Holland will be going to save. To save these villains that essentially, I imagine all of them at some point in this movie are going to try and kill him.
Well,
Right.
that's what's gonna be the final fight at the Steve Rogers statue.
Yeah.
Instead
I mean,
of
it's just an
Sebastian
interesting take I'm finding. There's being a good guy, Peter, and then there's trying to save the villains. That's
It's a weird conundrum. It's a weird conundrum.
I know there's being a good guy, but
I think I don't think that Tom Holland. I don't think in the DLC just doesn't want to send them to their deaths. That's kind of messed up.
he's not that cold.
Yeah. Not that. Yeah. The whole
we
concept
don't know what sort
of that
situation,
being
like,
the only
motive.
way to fix reality, especially for somebody like Tom Holland, it'd be like, yeah, there's gotta be another way. There's gotta be some
Yeah.
So I
way.
think what's happening with this whole thing, and this is just me trying to deduce the trailer, is like when Doctor Strange says, "I can't stop them, they're coming through." I feel like that's what sets up kind of the shift to the third act when, because obviously I think it's very obvious that when it first happens, more than likely Electro, Green Goblin, and Doc Ock come through, and then as it goes on, as we get towards the the climax of Act 2 going into Act 3, it's the rest of them come through.
Yeah, because obviously we know, like, Green Goblin is on that scene with the bridge, Doc Ock is on that scene with the bridge, and we'll obviously end up having a chat with Peter.
Yeah. It's captured.
I mean, I'm not really sure what Sandman's motivation is in all this, because he just, as you said, he just flew away. He just,
Sandman,
he just.
the lizard, they just seem to end up there. It's like they've been shown almost as like fan service in these trailers.
Yeah.
And that leaves, again, an odd one out, to make a Sinister Six potential. Is it going to be someone we know, like the Hobgoblin, like James Franco, but that would require James Franco. So.
Well, what would you rather, James Franco or fucking creepy Harry from Amazing Spider-Man 2?
Or the Hobgoblin could be Ned. Have you guys seen that theory?
No.
Ned could be the villain.
Ned is so like straight shooting.
Yeah, he's so innocent.
And
I did see a thing that like he lost like
he
lost like a ton of weight for this movie. I did see, like, I read somewhere that Ned's actor lost a ton of weight for this movie.
Jacob Batalon, yeah.
He could have just
someone's
done
gonna
it.
die in the movie.
Why not?
They're not gonna kill off like MJ.
Well, there's all those intense scenes. No, the MJ thing is such a bait, I think. But there's all those intense
it seems like
with
bait.
With Happy Hogan and there's Aunt May and stuff in the first trailer.
I hate to say
some of the second trailer.
I hate to say it, they aren't gonna kill off Zendaya.
No, they won't.
Marvel wouldn't do that.
There's been like
It's not
reports
my
that
Marvel.
Zendaya doesn't want to do another Spider-Man movie with Tom.
Really?
Like she doesn't like to see him go through that. Because if you've been living under a rock, some people might not know that Zendaya and Tom Holland are a couple.
A couple, yes.
Yeah.
I do know. Yeah. For anyone watching
But-
this video that didn't know that, spoilers.
Spoilers.
Real life spoilers, yeah.
Yeah, real world spoilers.
But it's like, I feel like, I don't know, there could be like a situation where, they have all these like, oh, if this person's gonna die, nope, we're gonna tease you, but then maybe like a Tobey Maguire Spider-Man or an Andrew Garfield is the one that actually is gonna die.
Maybe they both die.
What if they bring back like Gwen from a different time and Andrew
Oh
Like
no,
Emma
I would be so
Stone.
from
sad.
after the death?
Oh no,
that'd
I'd be
a
so
plot.
fucking sad. And we'll get on to that
That'd
later.
be a
But-
plot.
I mean, we could get a Spider-Man 3 Gwen Stacy with a...
Oh fuck that! No, you can keep that shit. Jesus.
No. That's the wrong one. The
Bryce
wrong
Dallas
answer.
Howard. No.
Oh god, no. Absolutely not.
Emma Stone shows up.
I didn't watch it, but I have seen, like, there's a video somewhere, like, where she's done an interview talking about the No Way Home rumors, and I've not seen it, but I imagine, like, she's saying it, like, I'm not in it. Like,
Well, so does Andrew Garfield said that multiple times, but he's in the
I
movie,
suppose.
obviously.
if she turns up.
They're probably using a cool little trick called lying.
True.
Well, they're not Tom
I'm s-
Holland, so...
If we get
not
if we get
necessarily.
a scene with Andrew Garfield spots Emma Stone, I will literally
Tears.
I'm team Starfield. Starfield.
Oh yeah.
I'm sorry.
Oh, imagine.
I don't know what that means.
And it's just Andrew Garfield and Emma Stone's names combined. Team Starfield.
Oh,
I'm sorry, it's fucking terrible.
Hey, I
I think
mean,
they used to be a couple. I think
They
they
used to be. They were a couple
around the time
when
of
they
filming those movies.
they became a couple. I think whilst they were filming the first one.
And then they broke
Alright.
up, I think, during film or right before filming of the second one.
so who was, dude,
I think.
it's just
I
awkward.
think it was after the second
Bring
one.
them
came
back.
out.
Bring them both back.
I feel like it might have been after the second one came out. Actually, I feel like I did see something about that because like after I'd been to see Amazing Spider-Man 2. But I think I know you know what it was actually. Yeah, I do remember now. It was it was I saw the thing that they broke up, and then somewhere in the news, and then it was like, wait a minute, they were a couple.
Yeah, that's how it works.
I thought that was just movie.
It's the same thing with Tom Holland and Zendaya.
Spider-Man movies have a thing of bringing people together in real life. Clearly,
Except the Tobey Maguire
No,
ones.
only acting in them.
it starts off as acting.
Right.
Except
Yeah.
Tobey Maguire ones are the best Spider-Man movies, though. But we'll talk about that
what's
later
your
when we talk about the
what's
other
your
ones.
favorite what's your favorite fan theory? Like, what's the big hype theory you believe in?
I'm not really sure if I've seen many of the fan theories, to be honest.
I mean, the one I think is fairly potentially logical with some of the stuff we've seen is that Doctor Strange is like under some sort of trance from Scarlet Witch.
Oh, that would be.
Because you
Right.
know the entire
I've heard
Sanctum
that, yeah.
Sanctorum is frozen for some reason.
Well, obviously,
There's
her
also a
and
theory that they're keeping something like I don't know. This is spoilers, I guess, for Shang-Chi that they're like keeping Abomination in there too. Like in
I
the
did hear
Sanctum
that.
Sanctorum.
Yeah.
That's
What
why
if
it's, like, all
Abomination
frozen.
is the sixth member of the
He's not a Spider-Man
Sinister
villain,
Six? Who cares? It's Doctor Strange is there.
because
could
it's-
you imagine if
Well, because
Doctor
he has to be
Strange
there to
turns out
set
to be
up
the
his
sixth
movie
member?
because this opens the multiverse, and then he's got to deal with it in his movie coming out. I think next
Him and
year.
Scarlet Witch as well. Yeah, him and Scarlet
Yeah.
Witch are the two main characters coming up. In,
Yeah, no, it's
in the
not
next one.
long after this one comes out. It's like midway through next year.
I don't know if it's the next one in the timeline or like
In the
in
MCU.
I don't know.
release time.
We're kind of in the middle of one right now with the Hawkeye show.
Yeah.
I've seen a bit of that.
All right, I'm looking up the Marvel order of events.
The release order, yeah.
It might actually be the next one. I can't think of like any other
I don't know if
movies off the
something's
top of my
coming out
head.
in like March or anything like that. Because I think that one's slated for May. It would make sense.
I've
to
seen the
have
list
it go
recently.
back to back, but
So
I mean, you could fit something in there.
this Hawkeye's coming out right now.
yeah.
The Spider-Man comes out soon. Morbius. That's the one I was thinking
That's
of.
the villain verse.
The
Movie, yeah.
the villain verse character Morbius. Comes out, which may or may not be canon.
That's not MCU currently.
Not currently, but it might at some point. Miss Marvel then
TV series.
Oh.
Kamala Khan.
TV series.
Isn't there
Kamala
Isn't there the next like Captain Marvel movie, or is that not for like a couple of years?
That's in the slate, but I don't think it's coming yet.
I think Captain Marvel's supposed to be in this Miss Marvel series at some point.
She is, yeah.
Yeah. And then, Doctor Strange comes before that. So Doctor Strange is May 6, 2022.
Is it the next one on the list? Like, is there one
It's
coming
the
out
next
between that
movie in
and
the
Spider-Man?
in the release order.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then
fine.
July 8th, Thor Love and Thunder.
Oh, that's the one with Natalie Portman
Yeah.
coming back.
Yeah. She-Hulk at some point.
That's a
Moon
TV.
Knight
That's
at
a
some
Disney
point.
Plus series. Disney Plus series.
The Black
they
Panther 2
they just-
movie.
They like really just announced to do Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse film.
I'd said to
Not
Chumpy earlier
MCU
I'd watched
canon,
that.
but-
The animated.
Yeah, I said to Chumpy earlier I'd watched that. I'd watched like 3/4 of that movie because it was on the TV earlier this year, and then didn't watch the rest of it. I thought it was quite
I've
good.
seen it.
I quite liked it.
I thought it was a little bit overrated, but it wasn't bad.
Nah.
By any
Black
means.
Panther 2, November 11th, 2022. Apparently they're doing it again.
Maybe just because we got the answer to the question we were looking for about. So it's going to be this movie, and then the next movie in the list will be Doctor Strange. So obviously, however this movie ends up, it'll lead into the events of what happens in the Doctor Strange movie. Who knows?
I'm not
Maybe
sure
the
if
mid-
the ending is gonna create the next movie. It's obvious. Well, the multiverse creation is the driving force behind it, because some of the already fans like, is there a multiverse out there that the kids from WandaVision are there,
Oh, I mean,
like actually existing?
I mean,
Yeah.
I think Scarlet Witch had to pull them from some universe to make them real. I mean,
Well, she
Is
didn't
the
pull them
theory-
at all in the
is the theory, are
WandaVision.
they both, are all three of them pulled then? Would Vision be pulled from a straight up separate universe and plucked to that big,
Well, we have White Vision, don't we?
we do have White
Yeah.
Vision. That's pretty cool. It was literally
Um,
just Vision's mind.
Still Paul Bettany. Yeah.
It's still Paul Bettany. That was freaking funny. Remember when everybody was like,
Back
I
to
wonder
the-
who the big,
Spider-Man
I wonder who the
conversation.
big announcement at the end's gonna be.
Oh, yeah,
There-
Paul Bettany's
there's gonna be a
answer
big
to that.
actor in there. Paul Bettany said he was gonna be a big actor, and it was literally just
It's
himself.
himself, yeah.
Look both ways.
I tricked you all. It's me.
It was me the whole time.
It's me, Austin.
Yeah, no. Marvel, fun. I like how everybody's hyping up big things, and it's always like an under, it's always never the big thing that gets hyped up. Like, there was a whole bunch of theories about WandaVision that never really happened. Mephisto and.
I mean, I've seen reaction channels that have covered WandaVision. What was the other ones? Captain, the Winter Soldier, and the Falcon. What was the third one? Wasn't there a third one before?
Loki.
Hawkeye.
Yeah.
Loki, that's it. Yeah, Loki. And now, obviously, I'm in the middle of watching reactions to Hawkeye, and they're all okay. I'm not sure. I think some people feel like what's it called? The Falcon one was the weakest of the three so far, or 3.5.
Yeah,
if you
I
include
that's-
I think it was
that's
the
a
weakest
fact.
of the three.
I mean, I
it
enjoyed
is.
it. I quite enjoyed it, to be honest.
Honestly, I was shocked by how eventful Loki was. Like I went into it thinking, oh, it's about a different universe Loki. What could possibly go wrong?
Well, it has a
Spoiler
really
spoiler
strong
alert.
cast.
Things go very wrong.
Seize the ball. Overshield.
Yeah, but don't worry, because friggin' Owen Wilson's there to clean it all up.
Perhaps.
I feel like the one thing that the series are doing, especially with the characters that aren't new, like the 3 series that have come out so far, whatever, WandaVision, which is sort of on this track with
Seize the skull.
Doctor Strange and Spider-Man and stuff, all the back with the multiverse. And then I feel like Falcon and Winter Soldier are sort of, or Falcon, Winter Soldier, and Hawkeye, I think, are going to go down like a similar like side path with some other characters that we've got.
Oh,
And then there's all the new ones, obviously.
are we gonna shift this conversation and talk about Hawkeye, dude? Did you hear? There are theories for like Wilson Fisk. Is that how you say his name?
Wilson
Kingpin?
Fisk, Kingpin.
Wilson Fisk, Kingpin, from the. Was he in Daredevil?
Yeah, Netflix Daredevil.
Well, Kingpin is a Spider-Man villain, isn't he?
He is.
Yeah.
But he they
there's-
showed the big fat guy in the most recent episode of Hawkeye.
And everybody's
The-
like,
the
"Oh,
flashback
there he
scene.
is." Nah, I'm happy that they brought the Echo character in though for the series. You
And
know,
she's getting
bring
her
a
own
bring a
series.
hearing impaired person to speak to another hearing impaired person. Look what you got.
Echo's getting her own series.
Yeah, dude, I'm actually pumped for that. I'm actually pumped for that.
Bet that was a surprise.
I feel like we're
Maybe they'll
sidetracking
bring
off of
Matt
Spider-Man.
Murdock, Daredevil into the
You're
film.
quite lethal. Weren't expecting that, were ya?
I'd love it. I'd love to see Matt Murdock back.
Well, I don't know. I don't understand the theory of him being the lawyer in Spider-Man. Because I feel like that's going to be a part of the plot that is so, like, minuscule.
You think
No.
that's gonna be minuscule? I think that's gonna be the whole first half of the movie. Is just
Well, I feel like that,
Here.
like, whole lawyer situation, like, the lawyers themselves, I feel like aren't going to be a key piece.
right, but it'd
In
be a
the
fun
movie.
little like, hey, maybe this will happen.
Like, I feel like a similar, like, obviously something regarding the lawyers and stuff is going to be what gaslights and starts the madness, I think. With, like, the outside characters, like Aunt May, Happy Hogan, Ned, and MJ to an extent. And I'm assuming we'll get a Flash Thompson sighting at some point.
He was in
He's
the
in the
trailer,
movie.
wasn't he?
He's
He was
in the
blonde.
movie. It's confirmed he is in the movie. Obviously.
not-
I mean,
he isn't-
there's a scene. There's a scene when he's at school, isn't he? So you're probably going to see all of the school-based characters.
Once.
Yeah.
There's also theories about him being a villain, but that doesn't really matter.
No, he's a spider synth, so.
Yeah. But then
Um,
again, so was Electro, and then it got thrown into a pile of eel.
Eels. I've seen a few things talking about like they're really scared that like Happy's gonna get killed off because there's obviously there's only the one scene of him that's been shown in both trailers of him looking at something and like there's a bunch of guys in the background with guns pointed at the car. But I think that's like I feel like that's just them coming to take Parker away to take him to get like interrogated in that scene that was in the first movie in the first trailer.
Right.
I don't think they're gonna kill off Happy.
No, that scene's definitely not him, like, in any danger of getting
Danger in there. I
murdered.
mean, he turns up for like 5 minutes every like four or five MCU movies. Like, he's just the ultimate extra. I mean, what movies has he been in at this point? Like,
He had
He
a
was in,
pretty
like-
big role in Far From Home, but
he was in all of
can see
the. Was
it.
he in all of the Iron Man movies?
I
think so.
I remember obviously he gets his ass kicked by what's her face, Scarlett Johansson's character. That was her introduction
Black
as well,
Widow.
wasn't it?
Available.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely
Iron Man
destroys
too.
him.
Ours now.
Then he was in Homecoming, wasn't he?
Yep.
He was.
Very briefly.
Very briefly. If he was in the second movie, I'll take your word for it because I've
He
not
was.
seen it.
He had a
And then he
bigger
was
role.
in
He did
one,
have a way bigger role.
and then he had one clip or like one shot of him at the end of Endgame.
Yeah.
Is that about it?
Pretty
Does that
much.
cover all of
guess.
Happy's experiences?
John Favreau.
John Favreau's yeah.
Good director.
I mean, he's been there since the beginning. He gotta if he's about to go, you gotta give him a big,
Also,
send
it's
off.
funny that it's like a director character. Like, he's the director, obviously, but he's like a big character now. Like, he's not even directing these movies anymore.
Peter Parker's taken on a lot of mentors the more I think about it. Like, he started off with Iron Man, he's had Happy, he's now sort of got Doctor Strange, at least at the start of this movie, as a sort of mentor or
Adult.
fellow, someone to look
Father
up to.
figure.
Yeah.
That's the one thing that I kind of. There's two things that I like about the Tom Holland movies that the reason they're good because they're different is they don't go like he is Spider-Man before the movie starts. Like they
Yeah.
don't go into all about the spider bite and
We
stuff.
did-
But he did talk about it in the trailer. So we might get a
Yeah.
little more info on that, and there's no Uncle Ben yet.
I mean, it's one of those where like we've seen it twice now, done it. Like, there's no need to cover it a third time. I think it would have been bad if they had.
Yeah.
I guess the only point I have left on the new movie that's coming out is this will be Tom Holland's sixth movie as Spider-Man, or sixth MCU movie of him playing Spider-Man, and I believe that's like his contract is like 6 movies. Is this going to be the last time we see him
Oh,
as
he's signed
Spider-Man?
on for another 6.
Or is he signed on for? Okay, well that scraps that question out the window.
Or another chunk. I don't remember how many it was exactly, but yeah.
Do you think we'll get
I
another
think-
Spider-Man-based movie for a long
I
time
think-
after this?
No.
I think that it won't end Tom Holland's character. However, I do think it will set up maybe a Miles Morales character.
Well, Miles
go that
Morales
route.
is canon in the MCU because
Yeah, because Prowler
And we're off.
There's
played
no
by
Homecoming.
Childish Gambino.
yeah, that guy is Miles Morales' uncle or something like
Yeah.
that. Cousin.
Yeah, he's on the phone with Miles too. Yeah.
Yep.
Very cool. Very cool.
I guess
Could set it up.
that covers everything I wanted to say about the new movie. I'm looking forward to it. It's coming out here in the UK on the December 15th, and I've already mocked Chumpy because December 15th I think is a Wednesday.
Yes.
I think. And I have Thursday afternoon and Friday, all of Friday, off for work holiday. And so I have every opportunity to go and see this movie before it comes out in the US on the 17th. And just mock Chumpy.
I'm probably
I'm
gonna see it on
flying
like
to
the 23rd
Britland,
if I
by the way.
can see it.
By the way,
Before I
there's gonna be a
leave for
travel
the
vlog
holidays.
on the Atlantic channel. I'm flying to Britland. As much as I
I'm
hate
hoping
the
I can
place,
see it on the 23rd.
I'm gonna see it the day it comes out. Suck it.
'Cause
17th on the
yeah.
Friday.
I'm going opening night to a
Finals.
Spider-Man movie. I'm not gonna get a seat, but I'm gonna try.
You're going to try and get in, and they're not going to let you in.
Yeah. Dude, it might be that bad.
Let me in, please.
I went to the Eternals release, and even in COVID time, I still
You didn't like that.
managed to find myself in a full theater.
You didn't like Eternals, did you?
It was subpar.
Hmm.
It wasn't the worst MCU movie, but it wasn't in the top half for sure.
I mean, is all of the MCU movies that have come out since Endgame just got that problem of, Endgame was such a nice, like, it was such an end of an era kind of thing, and now it's like
I think these next few
Struggling to-
movies. I think these next few movies are gonna be a little bit slow. They're gonna slow it back down and slowly build it back up. It's just gonna be how it'll. They're gonna set something up. Kang's gonna come back. Go hurt everybody's feelings. They're gonna have to do an Avengers thing. It's all.
There's
gonna
the
happen
whole
over
like
time.
potential for the Thunderbolts and everything with John Walker, with Elena Belova, with the potential for Kate Bishop.
Oh yeah,
all
no,
that
Yelena
stuff.
Belova's supposed to be in the new Hawkeye series later on.
Yeah, he's
At some
credited.
point, so that's cool. We might see Hawkeye die.
No, he's not gonna die.
That'd be
He's
cool.
gotta get back to see his family for Christmas.
That's true. That's true. Are you guys up to date on the Hawkeye?
I am.
I've seen like it's on the third one just came out, didn't it? I've
On
seen
Wednesday, yeah.
a reaction to that. Like I say, I've literally seen like 15 minutes worth of reaction. I don't know how long the episodes are, but
40 minutes.
yeah, so I'm only seeing like the best bits. Yeah, I think. I mean, I feel like this movie could have the possibility of really like setting up a lot of stuff to make up the ante. Upping the ante that the previous movies haven't done so far. Like that, I think that's part of the reason why some of these movies that have come out since Endgame have not, maybe lived up to people's expectations just because of how big Endgame was. But I feel like this movie could have the potential to, up the ante again.
Yeah, I feel like what's gonna happen with this movie, with Doctor Strange 2 and Thor: Love and Thunder, is it's gonna begin to like kind of fortify and continue the move, like kind of crossing the bridge from old MCU to the new age MCU. With the new, because the new like big characters in the MCU currently are Doctor Strange, Captain Marvel, and Ant-Man and Spider-Man.
Ant-Man.
So it's like, because he's still got another movie.
Yeah, he's definitely not. I wouldn't be surprised if he has one line in this whole movie, Jameson.
Yeah.
Who?
He's supposed to like show up. Like there was a scene in the trailer where he was just kind of chilling, looking at Electro do his electric stuff.
Oh, J. Jonah Jameson.
Yeah.
He's obviously gonna be in the movie, but he's not gonna.
Oh yeah, he's in the
play
movie, yeah.
a role
But that's
like
why I
he
would.
did in Spider-Man.
Yeah, that's why I say I would not be surprised if he had literally one line in this whole movie. Like just one, and that's it.
Spider-Man.
He was a hero. He was a thief, a criminal. He stole my spider outfit.
Stop believing, Spartan. It's ours now.
L.
So I guess that covers everything I wanted to say about the new movie. I'm looking forward to it. But like I said, one of the reasons why I wanted to do this podcast is because we'd seen the trailer. I was really looking forward to it, and I wasn't really that fussed about doing this podcast after seeing the trailer, but to kind of like get prepared for it, I went back and rewatched the first Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, which is just Willem Dafoe on crack, and then the first Andrew Garfield Spider-Man, and I wanted to watch that one for two reasons. One, because I wanted to see the Lizard, because he was the only one of the 5 villains that I didn't know anything about. And the reason I didn't know anything about him was because of the second reason, I've not seen the movie. And I'm not going to lie, I watched it, and I don't get why Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man, and Andrew Garfield the movies, the Spider-Man movies, I don't get why they get so much hate, because I watched it and I thought actually this was quite good. I thought it was a good movie.
Right.
And I'm sure people have opinions on why it's not a good movie. But fire away.
Are we making our
We're starting
Spider-Man tier list?
our conversations about all of the other Spider-Man movies now. This is the part of the podcast where we talk about every
Tobey
other
Maguire
Spider-Man.
is the best one.
Out of the three,
No question.
Tobey Maguire was the best. Uncanny. I'm not saying any of the other ones were bad. Tobey Maguire's the best though.
For
The
sure.
OG was the best.
Tobey Maguire is the best. I think Tobey Maguire is the best Peter Parker, no question. I'm not sure if he's the best Spider-Man though. Like he's no question he's the best Peter Parker, but yeah, I'm not sure if
I feel
if
like
he was.
Tom Holland is the best Spider-Man with like the action and all like the production, but it's probably because it's MCU as well.
Yeah.
He just does such a good job. He does his own stunts a lot of the time, and it's just very clean. Honestly.
But a lot of that probably is thanks to the fact it is MCU.
Yeah.
What is that?
And
Oh, for
Disney
God's
money.
sake! Get that shit off the. That will get some copyright.
No, it won't. No way.
We can quote the films, but we can't put the actual audio.
To rub some dirt in your eye.
You want forgiveness? Give religion.
Enemy has the ball.
Well, he does.
Your uncle.
Little Goblin Jr. Gonna cry?
I forgot about that. I'd seen the Gonna Cry from the Bully Maguire, but I couldn't remember for ages why he said that.
This is just an absolute savage.
Little Gavin
Spider-Man.
You'll get your rent when you fix this damn door.
door.
Okay, let's talk about just how so savage Tobey Maguire, that the neighbor chick in
Oh,
the,
yeah.
that obviously has the hots for him, but he's like just absolutely destroys her. Just keeps just slamming her down. That's funny.
You'll get your rent when you fix this damn door.
Door.
Tobey Maguire.
I mean, is it bad? I kind of want to make a case for Andrew Garfield from an acting point of view, because as funny as that shit is in Tobey Maguire's just in that movie, I think, and again, I'm basing this a lot off of the fact that I've only just watched Andrew Garfield's performance. But I felt like I was watching. I thought, like, from an acting point of view, like, this is in terms of like serious. I don't know if this is the right way to put it. In terms of like seriousness and like not trying to be corny or anything like that. Maybe not corny is the right way. Not trying to be taken seriously. Like, there is so much shit in all three of the Tobey Maguire movies that's like, you cannot take it seriously at all.
Well, I feel like
The third one.
the aspect that the Andrew Garfield movies do the best, and it's kind of weird to think about this as like a part of the Spider-Man movies, but the chemistry between Andrew Garfield and Emma Stone with the whole like Spider-Man romance plot is probably the best.
Oh yeah.
And I feel like the Tobey Maguire movies are the worst at that, but they also have probably the best arc with the character development between the love interest and Spider-Man.
I think, rewatching the first Tobey Maguire movie this week, it was very. It's like it's a long one. Let's just say, like, it's a real slow burner with them like getting their act together. So because they both obviously like Tobey Maguire and Kirsten Dunst, just like, come on, we know, just get on with it already, is kind of thing.
Right.
But neither one of them wants to say it until she has her little monologue at the end of the first movie. And then he just rejects her anyway.
It's like an absolute savage, and then we get Go Get 'Em Tiger, and then we get the ending of the third movie where it's not pretty, but they're on the right track.
I mean, it was very, will they, won't they kind of thing. And I guess they did, and then they didn't.
And then Spider-Man 3 happened, the event, and then it was fixed at the end, but, it was toxic relationships.
It's just, but
Very
that's
ahead of
why,
its time.
that's why when I watched Amazing Spider-Man 1, like, I feel like every scene I was watching with Andrew Garfield and Emma Stone, it got like, again, it obviously helps that they had chemistry and the fact that they started going out whilst they were filming this movie, but like watching it, it was just like so much more realistic, I found, and like you could take it so much more seriously than anything between Tobey Maguire and Kirsten Dunst. Yeah, I just liked it personally. I thought, realistic is probably the right word, because it's like, it's that sort of like teenage movie style thing of like how it might play out in, well, maybe not in real life, but if you're in school, you can relate to that, Chumpy.
It's not
since,
like
I'm an old.
accentuated like most
No.
movies do it.
Yeah.
Not
Of
over
course,
the
I would
top.
absolutely give props to Uncle Ben's savage moment when he completely drops Peter in it. She's the girl on your computer. Yeah. He's got you on his computer.
Yeah.
I have a mate who accidentally like left his computer on, or his school profile up on his on the computer he was logged onto at the time, and he'd stored like personal stuff on there that should not be on there, if you catch my drift. He got so much shit for that. Like, he got the piss taken out of him so bad for that. And I was seeing the Uncle Ben scene, I just immediately thought of that, because like it could have gone one or two ways. It could have gone either the way it did go, where she ended up flirting with him, or she could have thought, this is the creepiest fucking dude. He's got me on his computer?
Well, he is like this photographer and everything, so he's got.
Well,
like,
he
an
justified
alibi.
it. He did justify it, but she was just an absolute flirt with the whole thing. Oh, you don't have me on your computer? She knows.
But she's that girl.
Yeah.
Right.
My favorite scene, probably the whole thing, was when he told her that. Well, when he tries to tell her that he's Spider-Man, and it comes out so. I didn't want to use the word cheesy, but it kind of is a bit cheesy and a bit corny, and but so funny at the same time. It's the bit when they go around to. It's like she invites him to dinner with their family, and then they go out. Like, he gets into an argument with the dad because the dad's trying to justify that Spider-Man is a criminal.
Oh, when they're. Oh
Yeah.
the scene on the rooftop. With
The scene on the rooftop,
kiss,
and
yeah,
she
the
and he's and
non-consensual kiss. Yeah.
yeah, I suppose it wasn't consensual, but I mean, she didn't complain.
No.
Nah.
Because it's him trying to tell her, it's him trying to get this weight off his chest of like, I'm Spider-Man, but the whole way through it, she thinks he's trying to tell her like, I like you, I have feelings for you, I feel the same way as you, but it's like not that at all, and it's just so it's funny and like kind of sweet at the same time. Of course, it comes across as a bit cheesy because he says, "I've been bitten." Like,
Yeah.
like who says that?
It goes very Hallmark Channel for about 3 minutes up on that rooftop.
Well, I mean, I got behind it because I got behind it after she said, "So am I." But like when he said, I've been bitten, I just couldn't help but laugh because it's just like, how do you start a conversation with that line? And then,
Right.
I mean, if that ever happened in real life, you'd say, "I've been bitten," and if she said, "So am I," "So have I," and then I'd just be like, "No, wait, no, I have actually been bitten. This snake has bitten me on the oh, maybe not snake, like this spider right here bitten me."
That's just completely
any-
like shutting the girl down too.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like I say, he almost shut her down.
Oh,
Because he's like,
she started to walk away, and then he like grabs her.
yeah. No, I meant before that. Like he's like, I got to tell you this one thing, and then, you know, he recovers it by saying like, okay, I want to talk about me instead, and it's so funny, but like somewhat realistic at the same time. I'm putting so much emphasis on this scene. I just found it to be the best scene out of the two of them in the whole movie. I have to admit though, the villain, I did not, even though I was interested to see the lizard, the two things that let the movie down for me was the lizard and the fact that I felt like the movie got worse as it went on.
Right.
But I think the reason I found it like I think the reason why it felt like it got worse and worse was because there was more and more lizard, obviously, as the film went on, and less Andrew Garfield and Emma Stone.
Well, I think the best character in the movie is the dad, the cop. He's very underrated.
Oh,
Gwen Stacy's dad.
yeah,
Patrick
he's.
Stacy.
Is he actually in? I'm trying to think. He's not really in that many scenes. That
Exactly.
did an interesting thing killing him off, especially since he like gets quoted and like flashbacked so many times in the second movie.
Well, the foreshadowing for Gwen Stacy dying in the second one starts there, like keep her out of this, and then the end of the movie happens in the classroom where it's like those are the best type of promises to break or whatever, and then it's like completely just screwing the dad over.
Yeah, I should actually point out that I know now the whole backstory when it comes to Gwen and how it's obviously based off of the comics. At the time, like when I watched the second movie, I didn't know any of this, so I just thought like, why'd you kill her off? Yeah, she's the one that's destined to die, which is kind of depressing. But
and maybe she should have come back and die, but everyone else in No Way Home won't die. Just kill everyone again, so she can never be
let's go back and see it again.
But we'll see you this time.
I wonder how they'll make the physics look this time on the fall.
I'm just gonna call it as I said earlier.
Fall damage.
Oh dear. That's sad. I mean, I actually, when I saw it the first time,
it's not the fall that kills her. It's the whiplash.
It's his fault though.
It's his fault. He killed her.
If he'd like, I don't know what you could do in that situation. Like you're trying to grab her, and like when he grabbed her, like you can't exactly like pull her any earlier, can you? Because are you playing it through the? Are you playing it through the mic?
Well, it's either she explodes on the ground or.
But you know what I mean? Like he has to wait to grab her, then he has to be able to grab something in order to like take her weight and pull her up.
Like he can't like watch chat real quick when you get the chance.
He you know what I mean? Like he can't grab her and then just pull whilst I won't be able to whilst I'm recording.
Right.
It'll have to be after. Like you know what I mean? Like I'm not an expert on gravity or Spider-Man gravity, but like. He wouldn't have been able to pull her up until he grabbed onto something else to take his own weight. Would he? Like, that wouldn't have been an option at all. I assume. I know in the comics, isn't it like... Oh god, okay, you know what? I'm gonna break the trend. Hopefully this doesn't screw anything up. Do I?
Yeah, play it. It's not gonna copyright anything.
No, it's not gonna appear in the video or anything. It's not gonna be in the video.
Oh my god.
What is it? It's Minecraft! What? What? What the hell? Oh my god. Alright, link in the description below, viewers. It's there to see if you want to see it. And it's savage. That's terrible. That's just killed all emotion towards that death scene now. I know in the comics, like it's just like she falls off a bridge or something, and like he grabs her, but the pulling on her, like the whiplash, the whiplash kills her.
It's the same thing, but a different situation.
I also know, like they cut. I also know
hit the ground.
No. Well, like, when I watched the movie, I didn't even realize that she'd hit the ground. I thought he'd grabbed her just in time.
She didn't hit the ground.
Well, but her head hits the ground, doesn't it?
After it snaps, like he hits her, and then it flings her neck back because of it, because of her getting grabbed and then yanked up.
But if the ground wasn't there, like say if she was like 5 feet higher above the ground, like it wouldn't have killed her though, would it? She still would have died, you reckon?
Her neck would have still snapped. Yeah. Because he was.
Well, he needs to figure out a better way of catching people then.
Well, he was still free falling.
Yeah.
Sucks to suck.
He did a good job with the emotion in that death scene. I mean, with the tears.
Both of their faults.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like No, I just mean like him, like cradling her and just like begging for her to wake up.
Wake up! I snapped your neck. Wake up.
Would have been bad if Harry had woken up at that point. It's just like, I'm still here, Peter!
God, Harry from those movies is horrible.
Yeah,
But he's still
were awful.
Worse character than the Lizard, in my opinion.
Really?
Oh yeah.
James
hate
Franco,
Harry.
I think the Harry in Amazing Spider-Man, well, the one movie he was in, was
Think
even
he's
worse
better
than.
James Franco?
I think James Franco's better than the Amazing Spider-Man Harry. I don't know the name of the actor.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I thought you were trying to argue that it was the other way around.
No, I think that the Harry from Amazing Spider-Man is a horrible character. Like,
Yeah.
worse than the Lizard.
Oh, right. Sorry. I thought you were trying to argue James Franco's Harry was worse than the Lizard.
Oh no, James Franco's Harry is good.
His first scene in Spider-Man 1 with Willem Dafoe, he's like the depressed teenager. He's like, I don't want to go into the music. I don't want everyone to see me driving the rolls, Dad. It's a public library, Dad. I'm depressed at life, Dad.
Avenge me!
Avenge me! What's your... I think we talked enough about The Amazing Spider-Man. My final point is, I would argue that The Amazing Spider-Man, the first one particularly, a lot better movie than people give it credit for.
It's not the better one, but it's alright.
From an acting point of view, I would say that's the best out of the 3 Tobey Maguire movies and the 2 Andrew Garfield movies. I don't want to really throw Tom Holland into this because I've only seen Homecoming once, and I've not seen Far From Home ever. So I've seen a couple of scenes in Far From Home.
Middle ground. He's just there.
Yeah.
He's middle ground. I believe.
Which one of the Tobey Maguire movies is your favourite?
2.
Or which one do you think is the best?
2's the best one.
As much as I want to say 3 because it's hilarious.
Mean
first one.
value. The answer is 3. As far as actual movie goes, 2 is the best one.
I like
What
the
puts
first one.
2 ahead of the first one? Would you pick the first one over the second one, Matt?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, okay. So we got 2 different arguments, and then I'll make my decision. Why do you think the second one's better than the first one, Chumpy?
Because I think Doc Ock was a better character than... Okay, not a better character than Willem Dafoe, but I thought as far as, like, scenes were shot, and as far as... they did a lot better job making it look like a realistic fight of a guy with big tentacles versus a guy with pumpkin bombs. Like, they did a better job at making the fighting look real, if you know what I mean.
I sort of get what you mean, but from a comedy point of view, across the entire trilogy, nothing beats Willem Dafoe. Just from the first movie alone.
You know,
Itsy bitsy spider went up the water spout. Down came the goblin who took the spider out.
I was there was the scene, you know, there was a train scene where, you know, they were like,
That
hey,
was a good fight.
you know. And
You're talking
then
about the second
Spider-Man
one?
does
You mess with all
then Spider-Man completely disobeys the laws of physics and stops the train somehow.
Hang on, this is you trying to argue the case for the second movie, right?
Yeah, I like disobeying laws of physics.
I mean, I
hate
love the
physics
I love
class.
the start of that scene because it's literally 5 seconds and 2 lines. Where is she? Oh, don't worry, she's fine. Let's talk. And then they just start taking pot shots at each other.
Yeah, no, I just they're very close between the two, but I thought that there were certain aspects of the second one that edged out over the first one. I like both almost equally, but I think second one just edges out. You know.
Okay, Matt, why do you think the first one is better than the second one?
Well, it has so much nostalgia, and I'll try to make sure that's not like the key feature for it, but obviously Willem Dafoe Green Goblin is such a good character, and it maintains its arc of him just going like, crazier and crazier until you get the unfortunate, like, I don't like his death scene.
It's
That's probably
I
the
don't really
weakest
see. I don't really
scene in
know
that
how
whole
he was.
character.
I don't really know how he expected that to play out. Like he was just gonna. He was either gonna kill himself or kill both of them. Like
Yeah. And then it's like, oh, I like Kirsten Dunst's work. I mean, some of the like minor characters like Flash Thompson and stuff like that is just what makes the movie what it is, and it does a really good job of
Wait, who
setting
are
the
you?
table for all these relationships, everything like that build throughout the next few movies.
who? Which Flash Thompson is the best out of the three? Would you say? It's an
See, I
interesting
like
question.
okay. The thing is with the Tobey Maguire one is probably the best adaptation of the comics Flash Thompson. I do like what I kind of like and don't like the sympathy that the Amazing Spider-Man one does.
Like,
This
how does
is
she
so
not?
many,
Thompson
dude.
is comic relief. So,
Having seen, I can't really remember Flash Thompson from the Tom Holland movie, but having seen the Flash in Tobey Maguire and then seen the completely different Flash in Andrew Garfield, it felt weird watching him, like, kind of try to be nice to Peter when Uncle Ben died, and
Yeah.
Peter's having none of it and almost strangles him.
puts him up on the locker. Yeah.
Yeah, he puts him up on the locker, and all he's trying to say is sorry.
That whole scene is something else. It's such a good acting job by Andrew Garfield, because it's like there's that whole situation. Like he drops Flash Thompson, his head still down, and then the whole scene with Emma Stone. There's like no reciprocation of anything.
I mean, she's just trying to be there for him, and he just
He just keeps on going. Yeah.
doesn't want anyone. Like, he just doesn't want to deal with anyone right now. Which Aunt May is the best out of the three? I imagine this is an easy one. Or maybe not. I was going to pick the Tom Holland one, but maybe that's just because she's the youngest.
Yeah.
Three.
No, that's the mindset I was going with. But then I decided to calm down for a second and actually think about it. Actually, I'm probably still gonna go with the Tom Holland one.
She's definitely the most involved Aunt May.
Yeah, the other two really don't have
The
much
worst
to do
one
with
is,
anything.
Amazing Spider-Man. I did like some of the like kind of weird one-liners the one in Tobey Maguire's gets, but it's got to be Marissa Tomei, and it's just because she's actually like a character that has a little bit of development. You know, she's sleeping with Happy Hogan now, which I don't know how to feel about that.
What?
Yeah, her and Happy
Oh
Hogan.
yeah,
are
you
like
kind of
a thing,
missed
yeah.
that part.
Did they hook up in the second one?
They don't actually hook up, but it's very clear that Happy's got the hots for her, and we'll see if that
dirty
develops
git.
into anything in the third one.
I did like. There's a scene in Amazing Spider-Man 1. It's when it's after Uncle Ben dies, and she stays up waiting for Peter, and because he's gone around like hunting for the guy, trying to find the guy that killed Uncle Ben. And he comes back in, and eventually, like, he's trying to conceal the fact that he's had his like face smashed in, and she does a really good job of being like angry, sad, worried, and trying to be there for Peter all at the same time, which I really liked.
You just brought up the death of Uncle Ben. The worst plot point, that retcon with the Uncle Ben death, is horrendous. I hate it
in Amazing Spider-Man.
No, in Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man.
Oh, in Tobey Maguire's. Oh, you mean from the third movie?
That Sandman is the guy that killed Uncle Ben. It's so bad.
Do you think they should have stuck with? Well, it takes.
Uncle a chance.
Yeah. That's well. It's great that you quoted that, Chumpy, but because of what Matt just said, because all the emotion from that scene is now just gone because you know in the third movie that this guy that say just give me a chance didn't kill Ben at all. It's just yeah. And then he died for it. I mean, Peter killed a man for no reason, essentially. Although it is kind of his fault, though. Like, it is technically his fault. If he'd stopped the thief from getting in the elevator, then he wouldn't have got to Sandman, which means Sandman wouldn't have accidentally shot the gun that killed Uncle Ben. So it is still kind of Peter's fault. I kind of find the guy that kills Uncle Ben in the in Amazing Spider-Man a little bit funny, simply because he steals the money and then gives Peter his milk anyway. Like, and then 30 seconds later he kills his uncle. I don't really think that one's kind of
Uncle Ben death from Amazing Spider-Man.
So that one is the one where, again, it helps that I've seen this. That one is the one where he humiliates Flash in the basketball scene. He then has to tell him, like, you have to go pick up Aunt May at 9 because I had to change shifts to deal with all this crap. Then that leads to the whole, he's got you on his computer scene, blah, 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 blah. Then he goes to Oscorp and does some stuff with Connors, but he stays there too long, and so when he finally goes home, he's forgotten to pick up Aunt May. That leads to a whole argument, and then Peter storms out, and Uncle Ben goes after him, trying to find him. And then it cuts to... That's how it then ends up with the scene where he's in the shop, buying his milk, can't afford it. The thief then robs the shop, and then it leads to him killing Uncle Ben.
Over milk.
Well, no, I mean it's just because Peter, like, the milk, like, Ben would have still died either way, but like Andrew Garfield's just like he can't afford his milk, so he steps out of the line. The thief, the murderer, jumps into the line, and like he knocks over like this stand, like, deliberately, so that the guy behind the counter has to pick it up, and he's not looking at the
register.
The register, yeah. So then whilst he's not looking at it, he quickly grabs the money, notices that Peter's looking at him, so he's seen him steal the money. And so then he just chucks his milk as a kind of like, you saw nothing, kid. Here's your milk. And then, like, when the store guy realized it, he asks Peter for help, and Peter's like, not my policy, dude, and just doesn't get involved. And the only reason Ben then gets killed is because the thief is running away from the shop guy, and he gets, like, knocked over, and he drops this gun that he's carrying right in front of Ben. And Ben, being the moral citizen that he is, tries to stop him, and then just ends up getting shot for it.
Then he gets, he pays the price.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of sad. I do know what you mean, though. I hadn't even thought about that, like how much the Sandman thing just completely destroys any emotion to his death in the first movie.
Oh, yeah.
You guys have watched the MCU movies a lot more than I have. Which one of the two so far is better? Because isn't the second one set, like, in Europe like almost entirely?
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's in Venice and London and somewhere else, maybe?
Yeah.
France.
Is it France as well? Yeah, like I said, yeah.
The first one is better. I like Vulture better than I like Mysterio.
Jake Gyllenhaal! Woo!
The first one is just good because it's a different take on, a Spider-Man 1, for lack of a better term, and then does a good job. Ned is such a good character.
Yeah,
that's the problem.
Isn't that kind MCU lacks?
Isn't that kind of a problem that the other two Spider-Mans don't have? Because, like, the other two Spider-Mans do have, because, like, Andrew Garfield, all you've literally got is Peter and Gwen, and that's really it. And then in Tobey Maguire's, you've got Harry as well, but no one else. At least, like, and Harry is not meant to be a sidekick character. Like, so having someone like Ned as the sort of sidekick just works a lot better.
It's just, it contributes to the how different that movie is, and that it succeeds in being different.
I do also know what you mean, like the whole origin. Like, it's like we said earlier, like they'd done the whole origin already. Like, we'd seen it all, we didn't need to see it for a third time, and just jump right into it.
I concur.
I'm not sure if we've got much else to talk about. I'm not sure we kind of covered. We kind of covered. Well, I say we. Is there anything else I want to talk about the old movies? I didn't actually give my conclusion as to which one I thought was the better one, the first or the second one.
Or the third one.
No, not the third one. Absolutely not. The memes, yes. The rest of the movie, no. The third one has such a bad problem that the second Andrew Garfield movie has with villains. It just can't make it.
The villains in Spider-Man 3 isn't good. Because you're going from, okay, we're going with the Venom storyline. Oh, Sandman shows up, and then I don't remember what I was saying.
Yeah, sorry. We were talking about the villains.
Yeah, the three villains thing is just bad because it just continually swaps what like the Spider-Man storyline is. Like, oh, he's gonna be sad boy emo with Venom, and then Sandman shows up, and then Harry decides to show up, and then eventually flip sides.
Yeah.
And then he gets impaled.
Avenge me!
No!
No!
And the scene where Venom comes out of the kid, I forgot the kid's name.
Brock,
Yeah.
something is it?
Yeah, or whatever. It's so dumb. And then he just
Eddie
jumps
Brock.
on a grenade.
Eddie Brock, that's it, yeah.
And then he just kills himself. Just casually.
Sounds fun.
Harry's character in
He's not a
the third
fucking
one.
wizard.
Not that Harry. I actually quite liked the concept of Peter and Harry actually going for it with each other. I actually found that quite interesting to watch. I'm not
think
sure
it's
if
funny
I
that
liked
Harry's actually working with Peter after just all the
shit.
that,
Yeah,
Peter gives him.
yeah.
It's okay, because Peter's the protagonist.
I mean, I sort of can understand it. Like, I guess. Actually, no. You know what? I take it back. I was about to say I sort of understand it, but then no, because like I would get it if he was only doing it just to help MJ. But like they have a chat and like they act all like chummy and friendly with each other. So like, no, it doesn't actually
Not
work
that
at
one
all.
after his best friend just completely like dogs on him for everything. He like just goes crazy on him, about his dead dad and everything, and then
Scars
Harry
him.
gets mad, and then he helps him out. Like, no.
Yeah. Yeah,
If that
I
happened to me, and then I saw my friend getting punched in the face, I wouldn't help an old friend like this.
I can get it. I can understand it if he was only like if there was like a scene if that scene played out where he saves Peter from Sandman, he gets like Venom distracted for a minute, and then they have the scene where instead of him saying like the whole could have gotten here a couple of minutes or anything like that, if he instead have played that scene as like I'm not doing this, I'm only doing this, to save MJ or something like that. If they'd have played it like that, then it would have been way more realistic. But
Little Goblin Jr.
Goblin Jr. I seriously can't remember that scene.
Gonna cry?
I just remember gonna cry. I can't remember any of the rest of it. Gonna cry?
Cry?
Stop it.
The dance.
Oh, the dance. I'm sorry. That's the worst thing about. That's the worst thing about any of the Spider-Man movies. The corny dance. It's just so bad.
So unnecessary.
Yeah, I mean, like, what were they thinking?
They weren't.
They weren't.
It
Yeah,
worked.
clearly.
It provided
Did it work?
entertainment, that's for sure.
I mean, surely so many people when they went to see that were just looking at it and thinking, "What am I watching?"
That's one of those moments where you ask yourself why you paid for a movie ticket.
Yeah. Well, no, I don't know if it's that bad. Like, Spider-Man 3 as a movie is still watchable. Don't get me wrong. It's just, yeah.
Not good.
It's the worst out of the three. It's the worst out of the three Tobey Maguire movies. As I've said several times now, having finally watched Amazing Spider-Man 1, I would argue that Amazing Spider-Man 1 is better than Amazing Spider-Man 1 is better than Spider-Man 3.
Yeah, Amazing Spider-Man 2 is horrible though.
Awful.
I think.
Amazing Spider-Man 2 really shits the bed with trying to figure out what it wants to do with
What it
Gwen
wants.
and...
The problem is with Amazing Spider-Man 2 is it has its ending because it's obvious. It's just putting the rest of the movie before Gwen Stacy getting her neck snapped.
Again, I guess it doesn't help that, like, I didn't know anything about the comics side of it at that time. Oh, shit. Oh, well, I'm screwed.
Guys, look at
Sorry,
me. Watch
my
out.
bad. No, I'm not looking at this again. I'm not doing this again. Yeah, so I didn't, because I hadn't seen the comics, or read anything, or knew anything about the comic side of it, I just, didn't know.
Perfectly paid as all rents should be.
because, because I didn't know any of that, I just found myself, like, watching it, and then when I look back on it, it's just like, did it really work? The whole on again, off again. Then they were definitely on again, and then she died.
I don't think
Because
they were
they-
really on again, off again.
Well, isn't it like I've not
Well,
seen the movie in
they go
years.
off of the relationship because of like
Her dad.
Except they don't really. No, they don't do it because of the ending scene of Amazing Spider-Man 1. I don't know what happens, and then he does the whole creepy stalk crap, like talking about like that he knows she likes a certain restaurant even though she's like never been there with him. That figures out like she's like flattered by the fact she's got some guy stalking her. That like they used to. Like,
Isn't
like,
it kind of her catchphrase throughout these two movies to just say, "Are you following me?" to Peter? Because she says it a good like 3 or 4 times across the two movies. The first time it's kind of funny, and he plays it really well in a kind because he's still a geeky nerd at that point, and he hasn't got his spider powers. It's the scene in the first movie when he goes to Oscorp to meet Dr. Connors and finds out that she works there as his intern. So he's desperately trying to make sure she doesn't see him, and then it obviously does happen. Then they have this really this really awkward conversation where it's just like, I'm not stalking you, and he isn't, but she interprets it as like, oh my god, this guy likes me.
Computer.
This guy. Well, that's after. I feel like that's the first point when she thinks like Peter likes me. I know she like saves his ass
Hey,
at the very
Peter.
beginning of the movie. She saves his ass at the very beginning of the first movie because like Flash is beating him up.
She
And
saves
she,
his
like-
ass with the lizard, too. She claps
that's
him on
true.
the head with the trophy.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Actually, you know what? There's no way I mean, that just proved it. Like, you would never do that. I mean, obviously you wouldn't do that in real life because it would never happen. But you would never do that if you didn't love the guy. Like, stand up to a fucking 10-foot lizard, whack it over the head with a trophy? Like...
Nice shot.
I mean, she would have been dead, like, 5 seconds later if Peter hadn't jumped in.
Yeah.
Alright.
But then again, he might have been dead if she hadn't done that in the first place. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Nice
your
move.
life over someone else's, I would take my life.
Well, I mean, I don't get it because I'm not in a relationship. But I did find
Yeah,
like,
same.
and again, this is what I'm saying. Like, the more I watched the more of the film I saw, the more of it I thought like they did a really good job of making it seem like they were into each other more and more. Like,
whenever she sees your computer.
they did a good job of making the two characters like fall in love with each other more and more as each scene played out, and like,
As it gets
Yeah.
creepier and creepier sometimes.
I wouldn't say it gets creepier and creepier personally. I mean, she's friggin' she turns into his nurse at one point. Like, he's hiding in
at
her.
the window.
Okay,
Oh,
that
yeah.
bit's creepy. I'll give you that. That bit. And any other scenario, if a guy turned up at a girl's window, it's like that Back to the Future scene. It, like, the dude's taking pictures. Like, you'd get called out as a perv. Like, if you in any other scenario turned up at the girl's window, no,
Right.
absolutely not. But because she at this point is clearly falling for him, she, for some reason, likes it. And I guess she did invite him to dinner, so I guess she was happy that he turned up. Because he might not have turned up. He was still all depressed and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, how did we get onto this? We were talking about something else.
I don't even remember what it started.
I can't remember. We did start on something else, and it sort of drifted into... We were talking about the villain problem in Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Oh no, I mentioned that Amazing Spider-Man 2 it started with the ending of the movie, and it was pretty much making a movie, like a feature film around it. There's nothing like big to it.
Yeah. I mean, I just thought it was on again, off again, because like they start the movie off, even though like he's obviously given the hints that like you know he's going to break the promise, but at that point they're still like off. Then they're back on again when he kisses her at graduation. Then they're off again because he like bails the dinner or something, isn't it?
Yeah.
Then they're on again when they go and meet each other before Electro goes all psycho in Times Square. Then they're off again because she says she's going to go to London. And then they're back on again when he says, like, I love you, I'm going to come with you. And then she dies.
Yeah, and so he doesn't have to go to London.
I actually feel like I should go and watch the second... I feel like I should actually watch the second Tom Holland movie, because I really would be intrigued to see how Spider-Man would function in a city that doesn't have 100 skyscrapers for him to swing off of. Because I feel like...
Probably watch it before you see...
I feel like I went into Infinity War having seen absolutely like next to nothing of Phase 3, and I survived. So I know enough of the premise of like how this movie started. I know obviously how it ends with what Mysterio did. That's enough, I think. I don't think Spider-Man would work in any other city apart from New York and like Tokyo, and that's about it. I don't think any other city it would work. It certainly wouldn't work in.
Of like full-on web swinging in the second one.
That's clearly not, because he's going to all these cities where there's nothing. Like Venice has next to nothing. Like it has like one big tower in I know the name of the square. I can't remember what it's called.
Hey Hunter, look at this one.
St. Mark's Square. It has the huge tower in St. Mark's Square in Venice, and that's about it. London has nothing. London has he's swinging off Big Ben, and that's about it.
The tower.
Yeah, Big Ben, big clock.
Alright, I guess that's...
Imagine being British.
I don't think there's much else. I don't think I've got anything else I want to discuss.
Nah,
I
I got
think
no
we've covered all of the old movies. I would say the first movie out of the 3 Tobey Maguire movies is the best. Simply because then it justifies me saying that each Tobey Maguire movie gets worse and worse.
Yay! You don't agree with that, though, Chumpy.
Corporate expectation.
I just think if I had to pick one reason why the first movie is better than the second movie, it would be Willem Dafoe. So I'm really hoping that he has more than 5 lines in this new movie. I hope that line from the trailer is not his one shining line in this movie. I hope he has a couple of other corkers as well. You're struggling to get me out of my armchair. I'm old. Well, he was senile in the first. He got senile in the first movie.
So that's the 4th Spider-Man movie, Spider-Man Senior Citizen Home.
Well, I mean, actually, Chumpy did make this point to me yesterday. All of these villains are in their 50s or older. I think the Lizard is the youngest.
That's Spider-Man 4's title. Spider-Man Retirement Home.
It's either the Lizard or Electro. Either Jamie Foxx or Rhys Ifans is the youngest, and they're like 53 or something. I think 3 of the actors are in their mid to late 60s. So, I mean, Alfred Molina's gonna have a big role in this movie, and they've said they had to massively de-age. They had to do Rogue One level of stuff to make him look like Doc Ock from Spider-Man 2 because he's old and fat now.
Well, it's also been 17 years.
It's true, actually, as well. At least that's why Willem Dafoe's character works, because some other dude will be wearing the Green Goblin suit the whole time, and he's gonna have to have 5 scenes. Well, I hope it's 5 scenes and not 1 scene. And he's gonna have 5 scenes where he takes the mask off and he has his Peter. Anyway, yeah. To have everything you want.
Peter,
anyway.
they're
Alright.
serving chili at the
The way to
retirement
end
home
this
today.
is to say, you're not Peter Parker.
Yeah, yeah, you're definitely not Peter Parker, Chumpy. I don't know if this is going to come out, but I don't know if this is going to be out before the movie comes out and before we all see it. It might be out before Matt sees it.
Yeah, we'll need to make the wrap up. We'll have to make the post watch.
I need my medication, Peter.
Yeah, so I guess go watch the movie if you want to see it. I think it's going to be great. It's going to be the first MCU movie I've seen since Endgame, so I'm looking forward to it.
So that's a sad thought.
Yeah, and I guess we'll see you for the Sasuke podcast that'll be coming up shortly as well, and then maybe we'll do a post podcast on.
I'm coming back.
Chumpy's not coming back.
Podcast.
He's not coming back. All right, bye guys. He's
again.
Not Peter Parker.
Yeah, you're not Peter Parker.
Hey, Peter. you wanna
You wanna buy some death sticks?